All right. Welcome everybody to the free webinar. My name's Brad Williams, and I'll be your host for this evening. It's the 30th of June 2025, and this webinar is coming to you. And let's just share my screen so you can all join in the fun. So hopefully you can now see a very bright and colorful page, and hopefully that's coming through nice and clear. All right. A little bit about me. Um, Straight up, I'll let you know, I did no good at school, no good at all at school. I was um, Well, I like to say that I was left behind. I was the short, chubby, fat kid who didn't develop. My wife says to me that if she met me in school, there's no way that she would have gone out with me or married me because I looked like I was just starting high school at the end of high school. So yeah, I was not ready for school at all. And by the time I got to the end of school, I still wasn't ready to really take on a career. I became a baker. In fact, I did year 12 twice. I became a baker because there was not many other options for me, but it was a fantastic opportunity, and I slowly matured, went through puberty after school under the tutorage of some master bakers from Germany, and I learned confidence and structure and patience from then. But I also learned at that point that I didn't really want to be a baker, even though I did pastry chefing and became a cake decorator. I learned once I started dealing with new brides that I didn't want to do wedding cakes for the rest of my life. And I knew that I just wanted to help people, and I didn't want people being left behind like me. And I just knew that I had to be a helper. So I went to uni. My wife had just become a speech pathologist. Uni life pretty good. Looked pretty good. So I signed up to be an occupational therapist. First of all, I put down physio. I didn't know what an OT was, but I went off to the university open day, and I spoke to a couple of university lecturers for occupational therapy, and I knew I was hooked straight away. Once I got to uni, there was a thing there called a driving clinic. And as soon as I saw that, that was a light bulb went off. It was a passion for me from that day. That was in first year uni when I was a 25-year-old, not your typical 19-year-old when you're starting uni. I was 6 years later because I'd finally got to a point where I could shave a bit of facial hair and all those type of things. But I was hooked on driving straight away. I asked for my final placement to be at the Repatriation General Hospital here in Adelaide. That's now changed a lot due to government funding, but that was on the stroke ward, and you're not allowed to actually do driving until you've got at least 2 years of experience. You're not allowed to sign up for the advanced certificate until you've done 2 years of OT. I hounded them every day from 1.5 years onwards until I was 2 years to put me through the driving course and sign me up for the driving clinic as soon as there was an opportunity. I think they just wanted to shut me up. They put me through the course just before my 2 years was up. I was very fortunate. I went into the driving clinic, and as soon as I did, my supervisor quit. So I was on my own, but it didn't stop me. I loved it from the day that I got in there. I was helping people with strokes and dementia and those type of areas when I first qualified. But we're doing some vehicle modifications at those times, and I just had a passion that I needed to be in the car. I needed to be the person doing the therapy. I needed to be the person that was doing the help, not just the assessments. And from that point onwards, my interest in helping train people developed rapidly. I became a driving instructor, so I could really get in the car, be a teacher, be a coach, be someone that is really helping. My passion started with vehicle modifications, really getting into vehicle modifications for hand controls and left foot accelerators. But as the NDIS grew, so we were around before the NDIS, and I left the hospital and started my own practice before the NDIS even started. But as the NDIS grew, so did the referrals for autism and for ADHD and also for intellectual disabilities and so on and so forth. Not the area that I thought I was going to get into, but as soon as I had the opportunity, um, my love for this area grew as well. And why did it grow? Well, at the same time, my youngest son was also diagnosed with autism, and of course my life changed from that point as well. So I live this every day, both in the car and out of the car. So hopefully that gives a little bit of a background of how we've got to this point, and I hope that sharing that just fills you with the confidence that um, this is what I'm about, and this is why I'm doing a free webinar, and why we want to be helping as many people as we possibly can. We don't want people being left behind because of something that maybe is out of their control, like things were left behind when I was at school. Um, I was left out of all kinds of things because I was short and fat and slow and so forth. But I know what it feels like to be left behind. So luckily, I matured after school, but I'm here to help people who are being left behind. So why this webinar? Well, we want to unpack and help parents and support people to help them understand if their child is ready. We get this question all the time. Is my child ready to undertake this journey? And we're going to go into that in a bit of detail today. The other thing that we're going to look at in this webinar is the thing where people get stuck. They get their license, they might do the online course, they start a couple of drives, and then people put up their hands and go, "Oh, well, this is too scary. We don't really know how to progress," or maybe they've started a group of driving lessons, and the person just is hitting brick walls, not literally hitting brick walls, maybe hitting literally hitting brick walls, but hitting stops where they just can't progress with their driving instructor. Like just today, I had a lady in the car with me who had failed two driving assessments and is just not progressing, not feeling like she's able to drive, but the driving instructor maybe had just put them into the assessment just to try to get them off the books, and we don't want that happening to people. So this is all about helping those people that are getting stuck in the process and not progressing. Maybe they're overwhelmed by the system. It's also for the people that may get their license and just not drive. So they go through the process, get their L's, move through the learning process, pass their P's, but they're still not confident to drive. And this will go into that in a little bit more detail. Um, I probably need a timekeeper as well. I get all wound up and I get really excited and I go off on tangents. So I said 45 minutes at the start. If I go over, stick with me. I'm notorious for going too deep into these type of conversations. I'm going to share with you straight away this triangle, the hierarchy of driving behaviors. It's something that we should all be very aware of. When we first think about driving, we think about the operational side of things. That might be steering the steering wheel or pressing the pedals. That's the first thing that we kind of really think about. If you're in a manual, it's about not bunny hopping and changing gears. Um, it's that mechanical aspects of making the car go. And then, of course, making the car stop at a stop time sign. Some learners with autism or ADHD might have issues with this area, and we'll unpack that a little bit more in details a little bit later on. The next level above that is the tactical area. And this is the biggest area of it all, especially for ASD drivers. Um, it's understanding the road rules, but not just understanding that a stop means stop and a give way means give way to cars and maybe not coming to a stop. It's actually putting it into action, understanding where they fit within the system when they're driving. So not just that there is a system, but where do they fit into the system and how do they adjust to things that don't always follow the rules. So as you would know, if you're a driver, the road rules are set, but the road rules get nudged all the time. We're meant to drive on the left-hand side of the road, but on a skinny road and a parked car, you have to drive on the wrong side of the road. Otherwise, you're going to crash into the parked car. It's nudging the road rules to be able to keep progress, be able to keep moving, and being able to adjust to those so you can get through and really looking at that tactical side of things. Strategic is the top. That's when we're starting to become really independent. That's the things like, how am I going to navigate the storm that's happening outside, like we've had in the last couple of weeks here in Adelaide? Some big storms roll through, torrential rain, where the windscreen wipers are going full bore, but you still can't see quite well through the front windscreen. How do we negotiate all of that? How do we negotiate maybe road rage when somebody's getting frustrated behind you and starting to beep their horn or make hand gestures through the front windscreen of their car and so on and so forth? How do we make sure there's petrol in the car? How do we make sure that we're going to arrive on time? How are we going to deal with night glare and things like that? So when we first get in the car, we start thinking about operational. But to be a successful driver, we need to have all three levels under our belt to be able to make sure that we can do this well. So let's go into this in a little bit more detail. Driving readiness is not just about age. A bit like me, I wasn't ready to really be an OT for sure when I came out of school. It just wasn't the right fit for me at all. So it's not just about turning 16 or a specific age. It's really not. We have to be ready to take on this challenge. It's about cognitive readiness, so brain readiness, sensory awareness, so you're able to adjust to our senses, and emotional readiness as well. Look, there's competing pressures as a teen for sure. Like there's puberty for one, and adjusting to that. But then there's also at 16, there's usually year 11, maybe year 10, but year 11 and 12 as well, while we're learning to drive. Um, I really love this photo that's on this picture. This picture here of the guy with his fist in the air um, paints a picture of a thousand words or more. I share this picture with permission. This is Will. Will is one of our clients that we talk about regularly. Will came to us and he got his license when he was 25. He's 25 when he's pictured in this photo here. And that joy in his face is just amazing. Will is a high functioning autism. We're not meant to use high functioning anymore, but level 2 autism. But he wasn't doing much independently at the time at all when he came, but he had a passion for driving. His focus area, his passion area was Formula One driving. he could name every single driver. He could name who they race for, how long their careers for, what their personal best laps were, what races they had won. He also got into the mechanic side of it all as well. So he knew that a Red Bull racing car had a Honda engine, and a Honda engine for the certain amount of years, and all kinds of inner workings of how the F1 worked, and really had a focus area in on that. So it was about finding and working with his focus area to be able to help him to be able to drive. But Will went through everything that we're going to speak about today, because he got his license and then didn't drive. So he got his license with this picture. He was so joyed to get his license. But to start off with, Will never took the next step to be independent in the car by himself. He had to he had to have that person next to him. So to start off with, he never then went to the next step of getting a job or things like that. So we worked through that as well, and yeah, Will's now successfully driving to and from work. Still lives at home with mum, but is successfully driving to and from work, and of course that's giving mum respite during the day, to be able to prepare for the evening. And yeah, this picture is one of our favorite pictures, and you'll see it on a lot of our bits and pieces when we're talking about autism and driving. What makes driving hard for teens with ASD? Okay, so the ASD, the autistic brain, the neurodivergent brain, can struggle, as you probably know better than me. But when I'm talking here, I'm talking about me as a person, but also about my son and all of the clients that we've had through Williams OT. Sensory overload. When we're in the car, we might be in a little bubble or a cocoon, which might deaden some of the senses. However, the world moves fast in a car. We are now moving at 50 kilometers an hour, 60 kilometers an hour, 100 kilometers an hour. Sensory overload can be a big thing: air conditioning, noises, smells, all kinds of things. Also, we've got the social cue confusion. Now, what does that mean? That's things like reading traffic. That's things like being able to be able to get in and out of traffic, being able to read where they fit within the traffic. Mode, I'm just going to make sure that someone's not trying to get in. Just let me see. Sorry. No, okay, sorry. I've got a whole lot of emails coming up, but maybe with someone trying to get in. But I apologize for that. It's just the four of us still at the moment. Social cue confusion is where do they fit within the system? That can be quite tricky. Motor coordination challenges. Now, this is a really interesting area. There's the motor coordination. They might have the ability to move their arms and steer a steering wheel, being able to move their foot between the pedals, but can they do it at the right visual cue? So when this happens visually, I do this physically. That can be quite a challenge for some people with different neurodivergent thinking. Executive function delays. Now, executive function is how the brain processes information and comes up with an end result. Things like motor planning, but also working memory, processing speed, all of those type of areas. There can be delays in that. And what we see quite often is that the brain's working at such a high level, and processing so much information, that being able to find the right bit of information at the right time can be a challenge. So it's not intellectually not an issue with intellect. It's about processing too much information at a really high level, overthinking things, and never getting to the point of automatic. most people will get to a point of driving where it's subconscious. We do it on autopilot. We get from A to B without even remembering the journey along the way, because we're able to think about other things at the same time. Well, probably when you're on your L's, whether you've got ASD or not, you probably have to think consciously about driving all the time, and it's very fatiguing. Well, sometimes that never goes away for the autistic brain. It just doesn't get to a point where it becomes natural and subconscious, and it can really delay how we move ahead with this. I'm going to go into this in a bit more detail later on. Okay. The next slide. This is everyone's going to get a copy of this. They're going to get a copy of this. In fact, I believe I can share this now if I bring up the chat. It should be in your chat now, the fact sheet, or in fact, it's downloading. It should be in your fact sheet. The fact sheet should be in the chat now, but we'll send it through to you via email as well. The fact sheet is a handout for you to utilize. It's a stepping stone, a starting process for some of the things that we do as a driving school for helping people with autism to be able to think about the types of things that you're going to work through and giving you some tips. It's a bit of a highlight of what we're talking about today. We have another one of these for ADHD as well. So please let us know if ADHD is one that you would can't see it all on the screen. No, it's you won't be able to see it all on the screen, Stephen. You'll have to actually download it and have a look at it. Yes, it is cut off on the screen. I didn't want people reading it all and not listening to me, Stephen. So hopefully that makes sense. You'll have to download it and have a look at it. So what we can do is give you the time to do that and actually have a look at that out of here, because I really basically want you to pay attention to me. And I'm glad you're aware of my plan now, Stephen. All right, so you're going to have a look at that. It's a bit of a highlight package of what we're talking about today. And it's so you can remember what we've spoken about in today's session. We're going to get into that in a little bit more detail now. Okay. We went through before a little bit of a highlight of some of the issues. We're going to unpack those in a little bit more detail now. The sensory challenges that somebody may have when driving, and this happens to everybody. I like when I'm driving home, our office is on South Road in Adelaide. You might be joining us from somewhere around around this wonderful island called Australia, but it just think about it as one of your main arterials. If you've got somebody in front of you driving an old diesel car and it's putting out diesel fumes, it's burning diesel, and that's coming into your car, that can be quite confronting no matter who you are, whether you're got autism or not. Well, think about that for you, and that might be how it is all the time for smells that we don't even pick up. So little smells for us might be big smells for the autistic brain. So another lady that I saw today said she went to have a driving lesson with a driving instructor, but he was a smoker and he had a smoke before her lesson, and she just couldn't concentrate through that lesson, and it was one of the worst driving lessons that she ever had, and she cancelled future driving lessons just knowing that he was a smoker, and she couldn't bear the smell, and all she was wanting doing was in the driving lesson trying to get out of the car. That's where her brain was going. I want this to end. I want this to finish. How much longer until it's finished? I don't want to be here anymore. And she didn't really learn anything in the lesson according to her take on things. So deodorant, BO, bad breath, diesel smell, smoker smell, anything like that. We really need to screen what's happening. If somebody's having a bad day in a lesson or not being able to drive, screening that smells might be something that is happening. Sounds, I mean, this picture right now with the bright blue light, that can be really confronting. And I put that up on purpose to not turn people away and tune out from listening to me. But a bright light driving at night with flashing lights or flashing sensors can be quite confronting. Now, I'm going to tell a story of Tanya. Tanya is a lady that came to us diagnosed with autism, but had got her license, but was really struggling and basically ending up at the side of the road in a coma type state, and then waking up and go, oh, how did I get here? It became really something important to her when she ended up parked between trees in a paddock off the side of the road, and she didn't know how she got there. Through an OT assessment, we figured out that it was low setting sun flashing through the trees, glare off the windscreen and off the bonnets. Like winter sun right now would be extremely bad for her because the sun's low in the sky, wet roads getting lots of reflective light. And what was happening is that her brain was going into overload, going into shutdown. The brain was trying to process how to park safely at the side of the road, but sometimes she wasn't doing that safely enough, but she didn't know how she got to the side of the road. And she doesn't know if she spun off the road and ended up between two trees, luckily not to kill herself, or whether the brain automatically parked her between two trees as a safe place. She can't remember. She doesn't know. But, it's actually a good story. She actually went to the Royal Society for the Blind and had an assessment on her vision, and she's got a high reactive sense to red color. And what we're so the orange sun setting in the sky was a real problem, and the red color coming into her eyes. This was where I don't understand it, and I'm not an eye expert. She actually drives with red tinted glasses now. And what it does is it diffuses the red color, and she's able to drive beautifully and without headaches and without any issues like that. So understanding senses, really working through the senses, adjusting for the senses, whether it's sounds or smells or colors. Another story that I had, and I share this one regularly, is that we were doing a driving lesson and we parked at the side of the road, and this lady had been communicating with me really openly, and we were moving really well, and we were able to use diagrams, which we'll talk about in a moment, to move through how to learn road rules. But then this occasion, this lady wasn't reacting with me the same as she had been. She wasn't paying me the attention that we'd learnt along the way. Once we'd unpacked it a little bit more and we took the time to unpack it, we were parked opposite primary colors on a playground. It was red, it was blue, it was yellow, and the sun was shining on it. And just the sensory overload of bright colors. All she could do was concentrate on the playground and concentrate on not looking at it. So she was distracted by not looking at the playground and not really looking at me either, but just making sure that she wasn't concentrating on the playground. So our tips in this one is to move to quiet places, make sure that you've unpacked the sensory elements to your unique individual. Help them understand that there are things that we can do to help take some of those things out. talk to your driving instructor if you're using a driving instructor, and make sure that those smells are put down and put aside, or they're masked with something that is not then overstimulating. So, you know, smokers might spray their mouth or spray the car, and even that smell is over intoxicating. So make sure that we work through those type of elements, and provide a safe space for the person to be able to listen and learn and not be distracted by other things. Have an emergency plan, as it says there at the end, on how to move through the sensory things, but also we want to try to avoid those sensory issues in the first place, so we don't have to implement an emergency plan. Thinking, processing differences. Now, this is an area that most people are aware of when we're talking about neurodivergent brains. What we've learned in regards to driving is that not all brains work the same, and some people are going to need a different way of teaching than others. But most people really respond well to drawings and visual stimuli. So I don't know if you'll be able to see my computer screen on here, but I'll bring it up. Colors, diagrams, things that they can see while you're talking. Now, a lot of driving instructors are taught this way, to use visual prompts and dialogue and visual things to show. But as they go, they think they can talk about it. They think they can just verbalize everything and everyone's going to understand what they're saying. I am verbalizing everything right now, but the visual stimuli of actually having the PowerPoint in front of you allows you to look at the words on the screen, look at the blue head with the jigsaw puzzles in it, and try to bring that together to make sense to you. When we are teaching somebody the road rules, then we want to use visual cues all of the time wherever possible, so they can see it, they can listen and understand it and see it again, maybe doing demonstrations on whatever tools that you're using before implementing it, so they can get it clear in their head. So using easily transferable knowledge before actually getting into the, we don't want to get in the deep end and then have to swim like crazy, using that figure of speech. We don't want to get into a dangerous situation and then have to figure it out. The brain can process lots of information, but the autistic neurodivergent brain can sometimes take on so much information they don't know how to sort it out, to be able to come up with a clear path out of an intersection. Well, that's why you need to sit down and discuss it all first, and taking a slower approach to that side of things can really work very, very well. Coordination and visual motor planning are big areas. So we've got this picture here of somebody reversing. It's amazing when we go into reverse that sometimes, quite often, the autistic brain goes into reverse, and steering, as soon as we look backwards, the motor coordination for making the steering wheel and the pedals work gets flipped either upside down or back to front. So everything that was right is now left, and everything that was left is now right. Brake pedal confusion, accelerator confusion can be really quite difficult. So understanding that coordination can be difficult, and it takes time for the body to learn these things. Now, it's probably associated. I have got no data on this, but it's just my take on the world for the autistic driver. They're quite often left out of sporting groups, picked last, and therefore then don't participate in sport. So the motor coordination parts of the brain don't develop as much as some other teenagers. Now, some thumbs are extremely well skilled on gaming because they become insular in their own gaming world, and their thumb coordination to visual stimuli is outstanding and something that they've developed extremely well. And you just look at them playing. I watch my son. His ability to control the control pad for his Xbox is something that I can't even comprehend. The physical skills, the motor coordination of the gross motor, though, can be something that they can struggle with. So running, there can be a really high knee gait, so really high knee running, or a really wide running gait. We like running a bit like a penguin out wide with to try and keep balance. Crossing the midline can be really difficult sometimes for the autistic brain, because the right is the right and the left is the left, and down the middle is the middle. We don't go over the middle. So steering the steering wheel, if we do hand over hand steering, that can be extremely difficult to coordinate because the brain is linear divided in half. Right is right and left is left. So it takes time to develop the physical skills to be able to drive. It really, really does. And unfortunately, there's too many stories of the drivers going into dangerous situations way too fast. I've just looked at the time. I knew I was going to do it. I am way, way over. Hopefully, you can stick with me. If you have to leave, please do so, but you'll get the recording. I just get so, well, excited, really. And I love this is my passion area. I love talking about this. But we spend ages doing left hand turns around a block. Now, most driving instructors would go nuts doing that. They would just feel like they were wasting somebody's money if all we did was left hand turn for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many lessons it might take. But what we're doing is building motor coordination, motor memory, an ability to be able to develop gross motor skills that maybe they haven't developed. Don't push too far, too fast when we're talking about motor planning. You don't want to be in an intersection and not be able to control the arms to be able to get out of a situation. Social interaction on the road. This comes later than what you would expect. Too many driving instructors, again, go straight into, let's go out on a main road because you've been able to turn left. Let's turn left onto a main road. It's overstimulating. It really is. And we're having to think about what hands are doing and what feet are doing while trying to read traffic and try to fit into where you are. It's okay to go at a slower pace and may able to take one step at a time. Being able to fit into, there's got a heavy traffic road here, being able to fit into traffic can be extremely difficult to understand where you fit into the process. And if you're learning to do it on a verbal prompt from a driving instructor all the time, then are you actually learning how to judge traffic, or are you just learning that I have to go because the driving instructor said so? I'll give you a hot tip. Hot tip to take away. Learn how to cross the road if they haven't already. The same gap that you need to walk into a gap across a road is the same gap that you need to be able to pull a car out and get up to speed in. Roughly the same. If you can walk through that gap, then you can drive through that gap. Our body is 1 meter wide, roughly. The car's 3 to 4 meters wide, but the car walking can walk up to about 6 k's. The car can get up to about 15 k's. So it kind of equates to the same space dimension. So crossing the road is one of those skills that is absolutely vital. I am so far behind. I am so far behind. I am sorry that this is going to go over. But like I said, I get so excited. Keep instructions simple. Minimize distractions. Make sure you're in a space that doesn't overstimulate the person. Use visual aids. Start low stress. Repeat the low stress until it is very low stress and they can do it very, very easily and repeatably. And number 5, be patient. Don't go too fast, too early. Okay. Really, my 5 top tips come back to this, repeat this over and over again. These are the things that we have seen work over and over and over again. We hear from parents all the time, what if she can't cope with the traffic? What if he has an accident? Maybe it's safer not to drive. These quotes, we've heard them all, but if you think about it, aren't they the same quotes that you would have for any teenager learning to drive, or even for yourself? Driving is a dangerous occupation because when it goes wrong, it can be catastrophic. When it goes wrong, it can be physically injuring to you or somebody else. So we have to get it right. We have to get it right. And that's why I am talking to you guys today and sharing my thoughts around this. Studies have shown that it can take about 3 times longer to learn to drive for someone with autism. 3 times longer. So in South Australia, the minimum requirement is 75 hours. Now, in New South Wales, it's actually 150. So that's state government regulations. Don't get me started on that stuff. Otherwise, we'll be here for another 2 hours. But it is the minimum requirement. So if we look at New South Wales, 150 hours, 3 times that is 450 hours. That's a lot of driving to be able to get to a similar position that someone of a typical age and typical brain is learning to drive. But something to keep in mind that that's what the research has said. Yeah, I'm just reading your comment there, Stephen. Yeah. No worries. I will. I'll take that as a comment. Thanks very much. I am going to just skip forward over the case study really quickly, but the Karen is this mum that we've been talking to regularly for setting this up. Um, she was in overwhelm. She didn't know if she was setting off a ticking time bomb with her daughter. The story was that at the same time she was sitting underneath the classroom, like in underneath the transportable classrooms and not coming out and snarling at people like a cat. That's where she was emotionally when she turned 16. But through the step-by-step program, she's now driving to university, doing university part-time, and she's got a job and driving independently to McDonald's and working in McDonald's, which is great. So we can see that this thing works all the time. It's Karen said that she knew that she was in the right hands once we started talking to her about these type of things. She knew that that moment that she knew that she had it, where she just went, "Oh, hang on, I didn't say anything through that entire drive," and we just drove, and I didn't have to worry. That trust, the pacing, the sensory support were all things that we used there. I skipped through the case study because I've basically spoken about all of these things as I've gone off track. I really should use notes. Okay, the Drive With Me program. I'm going to talk about our Drive With Me program because hopefully you can hear my passion in this area. I want to be able to share all of my information. You've just got the top part of what and kind of when to do things. but you haven't really got the how yet. And that's what I want to talk to you about the Drive With Me program. The Drive With Me program is in 3 stages. Stage one is before they get their L's. It's about knowing if your child is ready to take the next step. And if they are, how do you know? So, how do you make that decision? We've got a big part of our program is learning the road law in an ASD or a neurodivergent friendly way. So lots of visual processing cues to be able to learn the road rules. Also, lots and lots of activities that you can do and on your drives to school if that's what you're doing. Lots of pre-driving activities to get them ready. So how can you start talking about driving and starting to do your own little assessments to find out, oh yeah, they're getting this. Yeah, they've got this. Yeah, they understand what a stop sign is or what that round circle is with the white line through the middle. Lots of different pre-learning activities that you can do with them as a passenger. And in this stage, we give a bonus about how to understand the NDIS. And after the NDIS has changed again this week in regards to slashing travel in half by 50% and also changing into quarterly payments as well. So we've got a bonus in that area as well if you want to know more about the local, and we'll update that all the time as well. Stage two is when you've actually got their L's, and we're contemplating getting in the car at this time. This is Henry here giving us a thumbs up. This is about finding the right driving instructor who gets ASD or ADHD or neurodivergent thinking, and how to tailor lessons specifically to your needs. So we can't see everybody. Williams OT can't see everybody. We don't have clinics all around Australia or anything else like that. But we want to do more. We want to do more for everybody. So we've got this whole program set up to be able to help parents navigate this system. How to actually be a parent and take that first drive in the passenger seat, but then also what are the standards that we're looking for and how can you be a driving instructor as well? Because that's what you are as a parent when you get in the passenger seat. You're instructing them as well as the driving instructor. Excuse me, I've spoken too much. Excuse me. Okay, and then how do you teach your child between driving instructor lessons? We also go into the common challenges when driving with ASD and how to address these. So, how to read traffic, how to create an escape plan, how to move through the logbook and get your hours up, all of those type of things as well. So that's the stage two. Stage one is before you get your L's, learning the road rules, preparing, finding out if your child is ready. Once we get to stage two, you've established that your child is ready, and we're really helping you take those initial steps to get in the car and then move through the hours that are required in a safe way. We'll basically help you become a little bit of a driving instructor. No qualification at the end of it, I'm afraid. Not qualified to do that, but we'll give you lots of tips to do that. And stage three of the program is when you're starting to plan to prep for your driving test. And we will give you tips on how to practice for your driving test so you get it right and not be overcome with anxiety. And well, like my lady today, had a real negative approach because the person was just so verbal in the car. New driving instructor to do the test, just non-stop talking, couldn't concentrate, couldn't get through the test. We'll give tips on how to negate that and navigate that issue. Taking the first drive as an independent driver, like we said earlier, wasn't driving. We've got lots of tips to be able to make those drives successful and build a plan on how to become independent. and start looking at those strategic thinking things like petrol, servicing, planning for a bad day, road rage, etc. in that area. So it's called the Drive With Me program. It's a program that's designed for parents or support people um, who look after people or assist people with ASD that are looking to drive. It's actually also for ADHD as well. We've expanded it just recently for ADHD as well. So the neurodivergent brain. Um, this program is designed for people that really want the best for their child. They don't want to just hand it over to somebody else. They want to make sure that their child is going to be safe on the road for many years to come, and have the trust that they can do this, and it's not just a guessing game. All right. What does it include? It's video training. You can go at your own pace. You can learn at your own pace. You get monthly Q&A sessions with me. I've actually got one tomorrow. It's the first of the month tomorrow. We've got a monthly Q&A session tomorrow, and people put in their questions and I answer those questions. You get a private support group with other parents that are going through the same situation as you, or if it's support people going through the supporting system like you are as well. You get regular check-ins to monitor progress. The support group, we've got all kinds of ways to checking in the Facebook support group. So that's how it operates. If people want to go more in depth and you want a customized plan just for you, we've got a higher level program. And you also get 6 one-on-one video sessions with me, or not video, but video call sessions one-on-one with me. And we can do them in the car as well, and making sure that we are in the environment helping you. And it might be that we talk with your driving instructor and we talk about driving and give your driving instructor hot tips to be able to work with your child. You get additional voice connection with me for up to 5 hours on a thing called Voxer. You get to ask me questions while you're out on the road. Hey, Brad, I'm out on the road. We're having a real trouble turning left. Can you message me back? Something like that. And you also get individualized coaching, more intense way of learning how to drive, and that can mix and match with your driving instructor as well. What makes the difference is that you're getting an OT guide versus a standard driving school. There's not many OTs out there that are trained as a driving instructor as well. So you get what's in here uh, delivered to you. You can hopefully feel my passion for this area. Hopefully that comes across in all of our video trainings that we have on there. We have hours and hours. We're probably at the moment got about 30 to 40 hours worth of video training already up there, and we're adding to it all the time. So when we learn something, we put it up there so you're learning from other people as well. It's got an executive function focus. It's got an emotional safety and readiness path planned out for you. And you can work with your local driving in school. You can share the videos with them. As part of this, my passion is to upskill other driving instructors along the way. If you've got the tools to help your driving instructor, then that's going to be helpful for other people that are struggling in this area as well. So it's called the Drive With Me program. If you've got your phone on you right now, you can scan that QR code and it will take you directly to the Drive With Me program page. Don't worry, it's coming up again in a moment. I'll give you that link again in the moment, but some people are really snappy with their phones and you might be able to snap that already. And it'll have the QR code. It's got all of the costs on there as well. I want you to know that you're not alone if you choose not to be alone. It's okay to move slowly and go at a slow pace. This world is so fast paced, but that doesn't match learning to drive with autism all the time. This path that we're putting towards you is all about building confidence, independence as well, and it's not just a license. It really isn't. It's all about producing confident drivers so you can go to bed at night knowing that driving is under control. So I will now open this up to questions if you've got any. I'll check in on the chat and have a look at that as well. Um, Sarah, you have to go, but thank you. Thank you very much, Sarah. You're probably already gone. Yes, she has. Stephen, thanks very much for your comments through all of that. I really appreciate your input. Um, are there any other questions at the moment? Yep, Kelly, I can put through the PD certificate to you. Thank you very much. I'll actually click through. I think you can still see the final page here. Um, yeah, so these have got the, if you want to know more, you can email us. You can book in a connection call with me. That's with a one-on-one call with me, and I'll discuss all of the things that we have to offer here at Williams OT, whether it's one-on-one interaction with us or the Drive With Me program or anything at all. The downloadable fact sheet is in the chat, but also I will email it out to everyone that registered for this session today, as well as a copy with this session. And Kelly, because you asked for it, I will send you out a PD certificate as well that you can hopefully use for your PD goals. And Williams OT is on the socials. Just search for that one. But this here is a link to our Facebook page as well for the Drive with Autism support. We are always putting up little helpful tips on there. That's about the actual program, but we've got the 5 tips for things like that that we put up all the time on there. 3 times longer to learn to drive. Lots of little videos. This one's about a century ring as an example. So that's it. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that everyone that is watching it online got a lot out of it. And you can ask me any questions.